Have you ever watched someone, in a meeting or a debate and just wondered, how do they do that? How do they always seem to win the room before anyone's even laid out the facts? It's not because they have a better argument, and it's definitely not because they're louder. No, it's something else, something hidden just beneath the surface.
It really is one of the biggest puzzles of social dynamics, isn't it? Why does one person just command all the attention, all the power, while someone else, maybe someone who's even smarter, just kind of fades into the background? Well, I can tell you, it's not random, it's not an accident, it is a system.
And the key to this system has a name: frame control. Now, think of a frame like a psychological fortress. The person who establishes the strongest frame controls the reality of that entire interaction. They are the ones setting the rules, the context. They're defining the power dynamic, often without anyone else even realizing a game is being played.
So let's pull back the curtain on this. Let's really deconstruct how this system works. The point here isn't to judge it, but to understand it. Because I promise you, once you learn to see the frame, you can never ever unsee it.
Okay, first up is the most fundamental frame of all. This one is all about power. You see, in any conversation, one person's frame is going to collapse and get absorbed by the others. The entire goal is to make sure yours is the one left standing. So many of us, we default to what's called the weak frame. When someone with high status challenges us, what do? We get defensive. We start explaining ourselves. We basically act like we're on trial. But the power frame, it does the exact opposite. It disrupts. It might use a little bit of humor or just act completely unimpressed. And in doing so, it shatters the other person's authority.
And here's the key takeaway. The second you start defending yourself, you've already lost. You've just accepted their frame, their authority, and you've put yourself in the hot seat. The first real step to taking control is to break that authority.
All right, let's talk about the second weapon in this arsenal. This isn't just about what you say. It's about when you say it. It's about taking control of time itself. Think about it. Being rushed, it's a classic tactic people use to weaken your position. It makes you reactive, it gets you flustered, it knocks you off your game. But the real power move is to own the tempo. You deliberately slow everything down. You dictate the pace. You use pauses to pull them into your rhythm, not the other way around.
And one of the most powerful tools for this is the 3-second silence. When someone fires off a question and they expect you to jump and answer it immediately, you just give them nothing for just a few seconds. That silence, that tiny little gap, it pulls all the power right back into your corner. It makes them wait. It shows you're in absolute control.
So you see, time isn't just a neutral backdrop in a conversation. It's a battlefield. And if you learn to control the clock, you seize control of the entire narrative.
And that brings us to the third frame. This is your ultimate defense against a very common trap, the opponent who tries to drown you in a sea of details.
This is what we call the analyst frame. Your opponent just bombards you with numbers, with endless data, with technical jargon and obscure facts. Their goal here isn't to inform you. Come on. Their goal is to overwhelm you, to make you feel small and confused and totally unqualified to challenge them.
But the counter move, it's devastatingly simple. You don't try to fight them on their own turf. You don't get into the weeds. Instead, you cut through all of that noise with one radically simple question that brings everything back to square one. Something like, hold on, this is all very interesting, but what's the actual point here?
Always remember this. Complexity is very often just a mask for a weak argument. By refusing to get lost in the trivia and forcing the conversation back to the absolute fundamentals, you expose that weakness. Simplicity is the master frame.
Okay, on to the final and I think the most powerful frame of all. This is the one that completely flips the social dynamic on its head. This isn't about winning the argument. It's about becoming the reason the argument is even happening in the first place. You see, in just about every interaction, there's a hunter and a prize. The hunter is the one who chases, and the prize is chased. Most of us, without even thinking about it, we play the role of the hunter. We're seeking approval. We're trying to win the other person over. That is a weak frame. The real power is in being the prize. So, how do you make this flip? It's really a two-step process. First, you have to consciously stop chasing their validation. Just stop. Second, you start acting in a way that makes them feel like they need to prove themselves to you. You become the gatekeeper. And the result is this incredible psychological shift. When you really pull off the prize frame, the other person, they instinctively start working for your approval.
They start justifying their ideas, their value, to you. You've completely flipped the power dynamic. So let's put it all together. 1. Break their authority. 2. Control the clock. 3. Kill complexity. And 4. Become the prize. But these aren't just 4 separate tricks. No, they are interlocking parts of one complete system. And that's really what this is when you get right down to it. It's a form of social engineering. It's a way of understanding and then structuring the invisible forces that really govern how we interact with each other. It's an algorithm for navigating power.
For so many people who feel like they're never really heard, who feel like they keep losing arguments they know they should be winning, understanding frame control, this is the missing piece.
So the next time you walk into a meeting, a negotiation, or any important conversation, just ask yourself one simple question. Whose frame am I in? Theirs or mine?